Forgiveness breaks a bond of negativity. Although unforgiveness is not an actual word, maybe it should be. We have probably all experienced unforgiveness at one time or another. By holding back forgiveness and maybe even nurturing our heart, anger, or resentment. Unforgiveness acts as a kind of energy dam. The negative energy between you and the person targets of your unforgiveness actually creates a steel-like bond that keeps you tied to them. This negative energy attachment is stagnant and immovable and keeps you from being your best self. It keeps you from achieving your highest good. Yes, lack of forgiveness keeps you literally glued in an energetic sense to the last person in the world you want to be harnessed to. It may be difficult to believe that sincerely repeating a simple affirmation can free you from your bondage, but it really can free you. It's been proven over and over by many of my readers and participants. For years, Jenny had been having trouble establishing a meaningful romantic relationship. She also felt she was working in a dead-end job. Her troubles had begun after she had been terribly hurt by an ex-boyfriend who she had not seen or heard from in 11 years. Jenny said the forgiveness affirmation, and the very next day her ex-boyfriend saw Jenny driving near her house. He followed her home, got out of his car and said, "I have wanted to apologize to you for years for the terrible way I treated you in our relationship. I saw you driving by and for some reason just felt a strong urge to stop and tell you this. I don't expect anything in return. I just wanted you to know." Jenny was absolutely shocked by the quick manifestation, but now feels she is on the mend and is actually actively looking for a new love for her life. Upon forgiveness, energy is immediately released to bring you goodness. When you invoke the law of forgiveness, the energy that has bonded you to another in a negative, stagnant way is immediately released. That energy is now free to flow into your life in a positive manner, bringing what you desire and bringing the highest goodness to you. There are always positive results from this important action, from forgiving. Sometimes the results seem no less than miraculous. After working on forgiveness using the specific method taught in this book, some participants received money and or other valuables from people or sources they had not heard from in years. Businesses saw more customers, greater profits, and general prosperity. Relationships improved, sometimes dramatically, and some severely broken relationships were healed. Participants said that individuals they had forgiven privately would call, email, or send them a check right out of the blue. The stories kept coming as more and more people discovered the positive benefits of using this important technique. Kelly attended my workshop in January of 2002 and repeated the workshop after I added the forgiveness technique. She was the first participant who contacted me about the quick and astonishing results that can happen by using this. Since the January workshop, she had worked on several business goals with success. After using the forgiveness affirmation, she was blown away when she received a check in the mail for $2,000 and $25,000 from a 10-year-old lawsuit that had finally been settled. After nothing Kelly's success, Jim decided to try the technique to collect an old business debt. Jim was angry at a client who still owed him $500 after 2 years. At first, he was skeptical, wondering how saying a skeptical type of affirmation would resolve this debt. However, since all else had fallen and failed, he decided it was worth a try. You can imagine his joyful amazement when he received a check in the mail from the client with the full payment 1 week later. Breaking negative bonds affects others as well. While persons being forgiven may not know what in the world hit them, they will experience the effects of the negative bond being broken and energy being released. The effects on them are usually positive as well. Their hearts may open in ways people who describe them cannot believe. They may feel the sudden need to call, email, or apologize to you seemingly out of nowhere. People who interact with those they have forgiven through this affirmation say they are more positive, more pleasant, and even nicer. Some of them for the first time in years. Jane had always experienced a troubled relationship with her mother, Mavis. She had never once heard her mother make a positive statement about anything. Jane struggled with self-esteem issues as she experienced constant berating. In addition to using the forgiveness technique, she decided to write a law of attraction goal affirmation to improve their relationship. She knew the law of attraction goal setting method worked because she had attended the workshop several times and was experiencing tremendous success in starting her own business. She had more free assistants and new customers than she knew what to do with. Her income was rapidly growing with no end in sight. Regardless of her business success, Jane was nervous about trying the technique for a relationship with Mavis due to years of accumulated deep hurt. However, she bravely pushed forward, did the affirmation, and scheduled a visit with her mother for the next week. After the visit, Jane told me it had felt almost surreal. Mavis exhibited a positive, upbeat attitude for the first time Jane could remember. Jane even asked Mavis if she had been placed on any medications to lift her mood. Mavis said that she had not been placed on medication and really did not know why she was being positive. She just felt that way. Their relationship continued to improve. Jane later told me that when it was her mother's time to die, Mavis experienced a peaceful, loving, and warm transition with her family by her side. Contracting the person you are forgiving, it is not necessary to contact the other person or persons for the forgiveness to work. For some people, it may not even be appropriate to make contact. You may freely forgive as many people as you choose without leaving your home. Many participants and leaders are relieved when they learn they do not need to contact the other person. Some people choose to contact the person, and that is fine too. But again, it is not necessary to do so in order for the process to work. Usually, the person for whom the affirmation is being said is quite surprised to hear they are being so freely forgiven. When April attended her first Law of Attraction workshop in 2004, nothing was going right. Her life felt broken, and as much as she tried, she felt helpless to hold it together. April had been molested by her father when she was a child, and she still carried scars from that time in her life. To add to her woe, her marriage had failed, followed by a string of bad relationships, leaving her with a deep mistrust of men. She also had money and career problems. April carried deep-seated anger against her father, who she had not seen or spoken to in 3 years. After enacting the forgiveness technique the very next week, her father called and asked to see her. When he visited with April, he said something that most she hero feels never confess. He said, I was wrong in my actions and I know they hurt you. I am very sorry and please forgive me. And April was absolutely stunned and speechless. She said the interaction with her father has totally turned her life around. For the first time in her memory, she feels healed, whole and able to live a happier life. Since that time, she has begun her own successful beauty and spa business. April has experienced such a tremendous transformation. She is now planning a career working with troubled young people, teaching them the forgiveness method for healing. In addition, after saying the law of attraction relationship affirmation, she made her life partner, married him, and now has manifested a dream house. She and her new husband are planning for a family. You do not have to reconcile the relationship in order to forgive. Forgiveness does not mean approval. It involves a willingness to see with new eyes, to understand and let go. They did what they did out of their own weakness. You did not deserve it. They could not teach you what they did not know. They could not give you what they did not have. This point is being researched because it is important. Forgiveness is something you do for yourself. It does not mean the other person was correct by acting in a way that hurt you. If they were correct, they would not have wounded you in the first place. You may or may not choose to reconcile the relationship. Forgiveness will work whether or not you choose to mend the relationship. It is also important to remember that forgiving someone is not presenting them with an open invitation to abuse you again. You are not condoning their behavior through this process of forgiveness. Forgiveness does not mean forgetting. You don't need to forget what happened to you. You only need to release it, hold on your life. I will be explaining the mechanics involved in using the forgiveness technique in chapter 6. At that time, you will set goals and list the attributes found in a healthy relationship. One of the relationship goals many people use is, I now attract a healthy relationship into my life. In listing the attributes of a healthy relationship, you may say that the person you are forgiving meets the following criteria: treats me with respect, value my opinion, is considerate and kind, and so on. As noted, we will cover the technique in more detail in chapter 6. This is for today. Hope you like it and it will be helpful for you. Do share this as much as possible. This is Amrita. I would like to request you to share and enjoy the process of forgiveness. Thank you, thank you, thank you.